the thing at all. So is everyone here?
Everyone but Yawn.
Everyone but John. So shall I commence with the recap?
Sure.
Being the events of Wednesday, 13 September 1893. Edmund receives 2 telegrams from Julius Smith. The first telegram advises him on the arrival of Baron von Hoffler, who is going to board the Orient Express at Vienna. The second telegram tells Edmund to be on the lookout for Everett McCrae, an American who will be joining the train at Stuttgart. The Orient Express stops at Stuttgart at 6:40 a.m. on Wednesday, 13 September. Bentley Burnham departs the train having accomplished his mission, whilst Everett McCrae boards and gets settled in. The dining car opens for breakfast at 9 a.m., and our investigators made the acquaintance of Mr. McCrae there. Several things happen during breakfast. First, the party sees Menkaph dining with an Englishwoman by the name of Mrs. Myers, a young newlywed weeping at their table along with Menkaph's man, Kapok. The party learns from Henri Peters, the chef du train, that Menkaph and the Myers both boarded at Paris. Menkaph claims to be Mr. Myers' spiritual advisor. Mr. Myers reportedly fell ill immediately upon their boarding the Orient Express and has not been seen since. Menkaph has taken an inappropriate interest in Mrs. Myers, according to Henri. Salvador and Vyacheslav make the acquaintance of Miss Karla Menkaph, companion to the Baroness Irina Razumovsky. Miss Menkaph is traveling to Constantinople in a double compartment. She's sharing with Eileen McGregor, a reporter from Scotland who is traveling to Turkey to appeal the government regarding the so-called Armenian problem. In the interim, Daniel sneaks into Menkaph's room and has a look around. He finds Burnham's notes on his surveillance of them, but little else. After their meeting with Henri, the party retires to Edmund's cabin to show Everett the blood-red fez and the apocrypha of the fez, as well as plot their next move. Salvador foolishly stays behind and is nearly dominated by Menkaph. He returns to his companions, visibly shaken. The time is now 10:30 a.m.
So
Almost.
last stop was Salzburg, right? Is that what you said?
No, Stuttgart.
Stuttgart, okay.
That was the morning stop, which is right after Karlsruhe. So now you are speeding towards Vienna. The next stop on the train, I can tell you what that would be. Salzburg is the next stop in approximately 2 hours.
Okay, so I think we had maybe decided to do something, right, about the Myers.
We're gonna go check in on the guy when they're at dinner or at lunch, whatever it is, a long
lunch,
period of time.
yeah.
Let me just make sure that I'm understanding correctly. The plan is at lunchtime. Vyacheslav and Edmund are going to go to the dining car to just keep an eye on Menkaph and or distract him so he doesn't go back. And Mrs. Myers as well.
Yeah, and when we
Meanwhile,
go into the dining car, we want to situate ourselves between him and the exit back to the room. So if anything happens, one of us can make a distraction,
Right.
the other one can, haul ass and let the other guys know.
Right, so far he has succeeded in beating you both times. The dining car, he always takes that seat right by the doorway.
Maybe we should go early.
We would leave early, like maybe even an hour and a half early, and have some drinks beforehand.
Right. And Daniel and Salvador are going to break into the Myers compartment. Correct?
We'll bring James with us. James Ambrose.
And James Ambrose, okay.
So we'll have a little bit of muscle with us.
So Edmund and Vyacheslav are taking that bottom table, and you have James sit across from you?
Yep.
The other table. Okay, so you're going to basically block
We get that
the
shit on
entire
lockdown.
exit. Okay. So sure enough, 12 o'clock, the passengers receive the message that the next meal is being served. In walks Kapok first. Makes his way. Actually, he's going to do what he usually does, which is stand at the doorway.
Did we ever make an estimate on how tall Kapok was?
I just
Almost
like his
7
name.
feet.
K-Pock.
He's
Sounds like
almost
K-Pax.
7 feet.
Yeah.
7 feet. Oh my goodness. Because Vyacheslav's like
There's
6'3". He's no munchkin, but
K-Bach is a big dude.
There is Mrs. Smith is going to be C, and then D is our good friend Ivy McGregor.
do they look pissed?
I'm sorry,
that
Mrs.
we're-
Myers. Mrs. Myers. No, Menkaph looks, he looks like a man who's already won the race when he looks at you. Like, you've already been beaten. You sons of pig dogs.
So, we'll order some lunch, engage in some small talk, maybe enjoy a small drink.
I'll be pleased to show you our menu.
So Vyacheslav would kind of speak up after the food has been ordered, which Vyacheslav for this meal would very simply be having once again. Actually, no, this time he's going to have the chaufrot de caneton, the duck, the
Oui.
duckling.
I'm having the Salé de Pré Salé Marie-Louise saddle of lamb fattened on aromatic pasture.
I mean, Trevor, I'm just gonna point out one small
Aromatic
thing.
pasture.
That's like their version of grass-fed beef.
Yeah.
What's the thing you were pointing out?
It doesn't say duck; it says duckling.
Oh, that's fine. Whatever.
You eat a baby duck? That's rude,
Man, my family has duck every year for Christmas. Okay,
That's duck. What about baby duck, man? You just lost like 5 viewers.
I'd eat a baby duck.
5
Oh,
of
this
my
is-
bots are no
this
longer
isn't-
subscribed to you.
This isn't staying
There
in
goes
anyways.
your PETA constituency.
This is getting cut
Yeah,
out.
exactly.
Who needs PETA? Fuck PETA. You hear me, PETA? Fuck you. Okay, we don't need you, PETA.
You
All
just
do
got
is make a
another
mess
5
of things.
subscribers.
I know. I just gained like 100 right there. Vyacheslav would, while he's sitting there with Edmund, he'd light up a pipe to smoke while he's eating, and he leans across the table and he says, "So, Mr. Ambrose, Edmund, how much do you know about a man named Karl Marx?" And this big wide grin comes across his face.
Edmund is like, oh, good God, man. You are most certainly a man that beats the drum continuously, aren't you?
Well, hey, look, revolution. It does not happen unless one continuously beats the drum, right? And then he slides him over a pamphlet, like that he's had made up before, and he brought a few with him for the trip. Like he wouldn't have not brought some. And he says, perhaps in your spare time, when we're not so concerned about fezzes, perhaps you would give it a read and maybe rethink some lifestyle choices you've made.
Is it written in English?
Oh yeah, it'd be written
Or
in
is it
English.
written in Russian?
No, it would have been written in English. Because, I mean, he's obviously, when he was in England, he wasn't doing it out in the open, but anytime he heard someone, mention, oh, the wages aren't good enough, blah, 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 I feel like I'm a slave working here, he would have been like, oh, and pass something along.
Edmund will take the pamphlet and kind of leaf through it and says, well, my friend, I promise you this. I will take a look at it when things aren't so pressing. But
Yes,
for
of
now, I
course.
think we need to keep our eye on the ball.
Oh, eye is always on the ball.
So after you have that interchange, Vyacheslav sees and Edmund hears the sound of footsteps approaching from behind, and Ivy McGregor approaches you both and wishes you a good day and says, I'm sorry, but I couldn't help overhear your conversation. You sound like educated and sensitive gentlemen. I've had this conversation with Mr. Ambrose, but perhaps I could have it with you as well. I'd much like to know your standing on this matter I'm investigating.
And I assume she's talking to me.
Tell her
talking to both
Saturdays
of
are
you.
for the boys.
He, I assume the food has already come and whatnot, right?
Not yet.
No.
I mean, you
Okay.
just ordered. This is the Orient Express. It takes like an hour to get your meal.
Oh, I mean, that's fine.
It's gotta
I didn't
get
know how long we'd been
cooked, yeah.
sitting here talking and whatnot. So as he's taking a swig out of his, flask, because I imagine that's when she walked over. He extends out a hand, kind of like lets out a, says, "Yes, my name is Sergey Levchenko. It's very kind to meet your acquaintance."
And yours. One of you guys have to move over if you want her to sit down.
Yes.
Edmund will push over a little bit. He says, Edmund Gore, a pleasure to meet you, Mum. Please have a seat. Join us.
And she plops down all her notes and books and things like that, and then she says, I don't know how much James has told you, but I am heading to Constantinople to try and help these poor Christians in Constantinople. The Ottoman Empire is oppressing the Christians there. How do you feel about this? This is a terrible mistreatment of them. The Armenians are being treated most unfairly by the Ottomans.
Well, to be honest with you, I don't have much knowledge of the situation there. It seems that this is something you've studied quite extensively.
Hang on one second.
Yep. And as I'm talking to her, I kind of look across to James, and just kind of give him the eye, like, "Hey, keep watching what's going on down there." Give him a little head nod.
So she then launches into a brief explanation as to what the Armenian question is. The Armenian question, as used in European history, became commonplace among diplomatic circles and in popular press after the Congress of Berlin in 1878. As with the Eastern question, it refers to Europe's involvement with the Armenian subjects of the Ottoman Empire, beginning with the Russo-Turkish War in 1877. In specific terms, the Armenian question refers to the protection and the freedoms of Armenians from their neighboring communities. The Armenian question explains the 40 years of Armenian Ottoman history in the context of English, German, and Russian politics. So it's often used to refer to the question of Turkey's lack of acknowledgement to the events surrounding the Armenian genocide. So the Armenian question is kind of like a human rights thing. Okay, my 15-year-old daughter just verified that everything I said is true. So I've been historically validated by a 15-year-old. So, this takes her about 15-20 minutes as she starts going into all the details in her research and how she plans on going there and making the Turkish officials see reason.
And then she immediately gets shot.
By me?
So how do you respond to that? I mean, these poor people are being oppressed, murdered, and then ignored by the government. This can't stand.
Vyacheslav knows.
Surely you think something must be done.
Well, he knows his.
Sergey, you, of all people, should know something about this. I can tell by your accent.
He knows what he really wants to say, which is to say, that the Turkish government needs to go and that these people need to, rise up and take control. And someone needs to arm them, whether it's an outside government or not. But he's not gonna say any of that. I'm not gonna make a roll because all he's trying to do right now is protect himself. He's not trying to, impress anyone or, take anyone's, he's not trying to schmooze. He's just trying to protect his identity, and it doesn't matter who it is on the boat, or on the train. We're not on the boat. So he would just say, honestly, I have no stakes in what is going on over in Armenia and in the Ottoman Empire. I am a displaced Russian. I have no stakes whatsoever in that area, so it does not concern me. Yes, I feel bad for the people. Is there anything can be done? Not without starting some kind of major conflict.
And I would have to agree with my friend here. While it is a terrible situation, there are many terrible situations all over the world. It's not a situation that I know that much about. I appreciate your passion for what you're researching and engaged in here. And, I wish you the best in your endeavors moving forward.
So when you say that, she kind of has a satisfied look on her face, and she lowers her voice and says, "Just as I thought, you are reasonable gentlemen." And then she picks her voice back up again. She says, "Look what it says here." And she opens up one of her notebooks and she starts writing a message. So, Edmund, you can read. Obviously,
I can't read.
Won't be able to read upside down. I doubt you can read English upside down.
All right.
Especially not written in cursive. So I'm going to type in what she writes.
I can't read any of that.
All right. So I kind of give her a look and say, I'm also worried about the situation
In Armenia?
and think that accompanying you this afternoon would be an excellent idea. Maybe we could discuss the situation at length.
Says, "Very good, gentlemen. I will meet you in the salon at 2 o'clock.
Vyacheslav's eyes are
A
just kind of
pleasure,
like going
madam.
back and forth, like questioningly to both of them. Like when she actually gets up
Then
and walks
she-
away, Vyacheslav would whisper to Edmund, "What did you just sign us up for, friend?"
The young lady
It's a booty call.
the young lady wrote in her note that she is worried about Mrs. Myers and asked if we would like to accompany her this afternoon. She often goes to the salon in the afternoon.
Is it a wise idea for us to get mixed up in her mess?
Well,
She is a little
She-
obvious about what she does, isn't she?
there may be something more to her than what we see. Her interest in Miss Myers parallels ours. Maybe we should meet with her and talk this afternoon in the salon. If you're not comfortable, Vyacheslav, I can go. If you would act as a lookout for me, I would be willing to meet with her alone if you can at least watch my back.
Well, as long as I have a gun, I should be fine to do whatever is needed. Perhaps I can just guard whatever door it is that you are talking at.
It'll be his K-pop.
I will be.
You're
your
almost the same
K-pop.
size, right?
And you
I'm
have
6'3".
James too. Don't
I'm not even
forget.
close.
Yeah, I do have James as well.
James could be good in that role as well.
Perhaps I will go with you if James decides to go along as well.
Well, let's see how things pan out this afternoon with our friends,
This is what I am most worried about right now.
as am I.
Okay, perfect. So let us now cut to the train car of Menkaph.
Like that noise.
Finally, the interesting bit.
The music just changed. That means you're gonna die, Shane.
Hey, I brought a gun, and I'm more than willing to throw Salvador ahead of me.
I brought the gun and a lighter. I'm safe.
We've got the gun and the lighter. Whatever's in there's
Sacrifice
fucked.
your only friend. I'll say that.
Everything else is inconsequential. All right, so you guys, I don't know how long you want to wait until after they go before you
I use
try to
my
get into Menkaph's room.
skills
I'm sorry,
and
Myers' room.
skills and history as a thief to judge the right amount of time that I would know that someone's not coming back.
Mhm.
So after whatever period of time that would be, I would
Yeah,
motion for.
Right. So you basically, um, estimate how long it takes to walk to the dining car, and you estimate, using all of your finely tuned thieving skills, like when the perfect opportunity would be, like when someone would be totally engrossed in what they need to do. So X is the Myers room. It is adjoined to Menkaph's, as you can see. And yeah, what would you like to do?
I'm going to let Salvador know I'm moving up. I am also going to check the door for any sort of hidden objects that may alert them to knowing that I came in.
Okay, so you want to move up to the door and do a spot hidden.
Ooh,
Nice.
nice.
Real nice.
Ooh, extreme success. Yeah, you don't notice anything like that, but the door is locked.
It's just a hard success.
Hard.
Doesn't matter. I don't notice anything. I look at Salvador and I'm like, nothing on the door. I'm gonna try and get the door open. Keep watch my back.
Will do.
I wiggle the doorknob.
Why are you jiggling the doorknob?
To see if it's locked or, if I can open it.
Okay. It is locked.
I'm gonna try and listen to see if I hear anyone talking or anything from the inside to see if I make sure it's
Yeah.
empty.
Okay, sure, go for it.
Damn it.
You can't hear anything with all the noise from the train.
Alright, I'm gonna try and open the door now.
Okay, so pick the lock.
Fuck. I'm gonna take out my expert level lock picks and
Okay.
pull them out of my leather case, and I'm gonna go through each pick, trying to decide which one to use. And I pull out the hook pick, and I'm gonna try and rake the lock.
I will let you take a bonus on that one, bonus die, since you're using your exceptional tools for this one.
Nice.
Wow, nice.
I'm gonna open the
I'm sorry,
door in
go
a
ahead.
manner in which it doesn't make too much noise, but that as not alert anyone inside the room that may have been in there, or in neighboring rooms.
So you stealthily open the door. Two things that you notice. One, the cabinet itself seems to be completely dark, like the windows are covered over and there's no light source on the inside. So you have a hard time seeing even inside the cabin. You feel an intense cold inside the room itself, and you have that general feeling that that there probably is a blood red fez inside this room. You can hear the whispering and
I ask Salvador for his lighter. I'm gonna go see if I can open the drapes using his lighter as light.
okay.
Yep, and I give
And
it to him.
Salvador. So I'm going to move you up, Salvador.
Yep, and I'm gonna tell him
Salvador
to
is
be
here.
very careful with it, because it is like a treasured possession.
And I alert Salvador that there's probably a fez in this room, as I can hear it itching at the back of my head.
Be extra careful. That is a very nice light.
Alright,
Daniel,
so
move
I'm
your token
going
the
in
room.
with the lighter
Okay,
on to
so
open the drapes.
As soon as you walk into the room and you make your way towards the lights, you can just about make out a figure on the bunk. And it must be Mr. Myers, but you can't make out any details in the darkness, but you can hear his labored breathing. The room just smells like that smell of the sump oil stench that was in the withered man's room wasn't in Puck's room, but in that tenement room. you get that feeling all over again. This like overwhelming urge to vomit. I'm gonna need for you to make a check for that actually. Make a willpower check, I guess. Power check. Regular success. Okay, so you're just barely able to keep your lunch down as you
Or
kind of
breakfast, anyway.
stagger. Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of like
So-
throw myself towards the drapes as I, I don't want to stay in the room any longer than I have to. I'm losing my, not as stealthy as I would have been normally. I am throwing the drapes open.
So when you get to about where the pillow is, I'm just going to move your coconut just a little bit further. So you get about, so you're close to the level of where Meyer's head would be at the pillow. Two things happen. One is the door slams shut behind you, cutting off Salvador. And two,
I should have made you go first.
so just and inside you could feel those shadows that you saw before start writhing against the dim light that you can make out from the sealed window, and you are now in this room with two of those shadow creatures. So what is your dex?
86.
Okay,
Dang,
let's
you're
see.
fast, dude.
I
I'm
think
not
they're
called
faster
the Fleetfoot
actually.
because I'm slow.
I am pretty sure that they are faster still.
My advice: jump out the window of the train.
Okay, let's see. Here we go. First, I need for you to make a sanity check. Of course.
Of course.
So you passed, right? So you lose 1 sanity,
Okay.
and they both lunge at you to attack you. So the first one, I don't know if you saw the last roll I made, but I rolled a 3.
I didn't.
So, yeah, so they beat you. So this first one slashes you.
Oof.
What's the damage?
I think light is going to be your friend in this situation, man.
Yeah, my
think
first
you
turn, I'm
take
gonna get that window.
shades.
1
Open,
point
yeah.
damage. Second one, I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, 55.
I see 1 and
Yep.
55.
All
Yep.
right,
So
dodge.
that succeeded.
Taking 5 points
They-
of damage, or no?
Another 4 from the second one.
Uh,
So you
Do
can
I have to
feel them
roll-
tearing at you.
wait, do I roll twice, one for each, or just once for both of them?
Well, you rolled twice, but they beat your rolls both times. So
Oh, okay. So that's 5 points of
even though
damage.
You passed. Total 5, yeah.
All right.
And now it is your turn.
Can I try to open the door, or is like locked?
This is all happening
can
within
try to-
seconds, I'm sure. So you probably are barely aware that this is going on at the point.
I would say that Salvador can attempt to man open the door if you'd like.
I definitely would like to.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. So give
What
me
would be
a.
the roll?
Well, I believe you have strength as a characteristic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So do that one.
And don't forget,
100.
if that was half your hit points, I think it's major wound.
No, it was only
Okay.
5.
Can I push it?
you have
You
11?
can, but you realize that it feels like there's something on the other side holding the door, the handle, and you're
it-
probably not stronger than it is.
Yeah, put it in Fantasy Grounds chat. Are they entirely wooden, or do they have some glass?
Okay, so yes, I understand. Yeah, there's no glass on the doors themselves. The doors are solid, in other words.
You can go in through Menkaph's room.
You could try to go in through Menkaph's room, yes. So where you're standing, I mean, if you look at your token, really your token was here, and you can try to run to the other door. Okay.
The last time I'll say fuck that. Nah, I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
All right, so
Um,
Salvador's pounding on the door.
I am going to try to dodge the try to get around the shadow and open the drapes, because I realized last time I didn't get attacked by these things because I had some light. So I'm gonna try and open the drapes. Finally.
Okay, cool. So you make it to the drapes and you open them up, and the light does make them retreat. So outside it's a beautiful day, so when you open up the layers of drapes, it lets in like a ton of light, and they just basically disappear into the shadows.
Whew.
Smart thinking.
However, also, you now have a very good look at the thing that was Mr. Myers. And if you recall the creature that Poop turned into right before he attacked you, that is what's laying on the bed right now.
Oh no.
So it has the distended head and everything, but it appears to be unresponsive. It's just laying there.
Is the
But
fez on its head?
the tongue, and the fez is on its head.
How
and
did we
it
get
is
the
a
fez
blood
off
red
last
fez.
time? Do you
We
remember?
killed it and it fell off.
Yeah. Can you rip it off?
First thing
it
I'm going
was
to do is I'm going to
fused
open
to
the
its
door for
head.
Salvador.
Okay. So you're able to open the door.
I wave Salvador in as I'm like, holding the slashes against my chest, trying to, keep the blood in. And I look at him, I'm like, look what you got here. We have to be extremely careful.
Careful, what we need to do is report this to Henri.
What we need to do is kill it.
The problem is, if we kill it now, we could have a massive diplomatic incident going on. So I would say that we better first show it to someone with authority.
I don't think you understand. If this thing escapes this room, we might not be able to kill it.
Well, it's not moving, right?
I don't know. I'm not as much concerned with diplomacy as I am with my own life at the moment. I'm taking a look at. I'm taking a look at the fez, seeing if it's like seared on like it was last time.
Mm-hmm. So I would say give me a spot hidden.
Fuck.
Ooh.
So you can tell that it is definitely, it looks like it's fused onto its head, just like the other one. And Salvatore looks like he passed the spot hit. Salvatore, you notice that it looks like his pillow is being propped up by something.
Oh, neither of them passed, I don't believe.
Oh wait, did you fail?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to.
So,
you're
okay.
looking at the very last word, which is
Yeah.
telling them that if you spend luck, you can succeed.
Yeah, I see. I wish that the pass and fail would be bold
Yeah.
on this.
I mean, I can always
But-
push and get close to the guy with with my knife out at the time being. Gunshot would probably be a bad idea.
Do it. Do it.
So yeah, I'm pushing it.
And you want me to push it?
Yeah, I want you to push it as well,
Alright.
since you're technically closer.
There we go.
Yeah.
Hard
Man, the
success.
dice are not loving you guys tonight at all.
Alright, so
Um,
we noticed the thing propped up.
You notice that the pillow seems to be propped up, like something is holding the pillow up. There's a large object under the pillow.
And I motion Salvador over. I'm like, there's something under the pillow. I'm being quiet because I think he's sleeping, but I can't quite tell, so I'm just gonna be cautious. I'm like, watch him for a second. I'm gonna see if I can pull it out.
I'm gonna do you one better. Once pointed out the the thing beneath the pillow, like how big is it? Because I'm gonna try, to find something similarly sized.
You can't tell.
We're gonna pull an Indiana Jones on this thing.
Just about to say
Oh,
that.
You can't tell. The pillow is too big.
I reach down. I like crouch down next to the pillow, and I'm
Mhm.
like looking at it, trying to decide if I'm gonna grab it.
Okay. Do you like lift up the edge?
Yeah, like
of the
I'm like
pillow to-
just like lifting it up a little bit, being super cautious.
can see that it appears to be a book.
Ho, 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 ho.
It's a book, Salvador.
Then I replace this book with another book.
If it's just a book, maybe we should just leave it here. Kill the thing and leave.
No, you don't get it. Remember that book that was missing from the dwarf's house?
That book about the fez?
Yes.
Oh, I see. Perhaps this thing is guarding it. Hmm.
Most likely. How good are you at doing the pull and switch?
How good I am at stealing things, you're asking me? Well, my friend from Spain, not very good, as my profession only requires it. At that moment of my strong indications of sarcasm, I pull the book out stealthily.
Okay. Are you gonna make a stealth roll?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I think this is a good moment for me to check, like, the door.
Yes. So you're able to pull it out without disturbing him in any real way.
And I look at,
Now-
I'm like, sorry, go ahead, Ben.
I was just gonna say, unlike Hook, who was, dressed
Chained
in
up.
rags and chained up, Mr. Myers is dressed like this thing is dressed like an English gentleman.
I mean, Salvador, we should try and get the fez off. Go get the shotgun from the bedroom. So yeah, I lean back towards you. I'm like, we should get the shotgun. If we're gonna try and pull the fez off, we're gonna need a gun here.
Yeah, I mean, I have got
There you are.
Perfect.
Perfect. Yes, so at this point you have removed the tome that was under Mr. Myers' pillow. And you notice that he's dressed like an English gentleman as well. So, man, you don't have psychology, do you? Let me take a look
Yeah,
at
I have
your
a
character
chance of
sheet.
rolling it. I mean, 10.
I just want to take a
Yeah.
look at your skill set first.
All right.
What I'm thinking about, Nil, is we can try to get the fez off. If we can't get the fez off, we'll take some pillows from our room. We'll put the pillows on top of the body and then shoot the shotgun through the pillows. It'll act as a muffle.
There you go.
You have
Not that much
no.
of a muffle. Like that's the thing. Like a gun is still a noisy affair.
Yes, but it'll be somewhat drained out by, the train tracks, and then it'll be suppressed, and, everyone's talking.
I mean,
Yeah, I will
like,
tell you this. I will tell you this. You need somebody like Edmund to look at this first, because you guys don't have the skill set to even understand really what you're looking at.
As far as the book is concerned.
Not only the book, but Mr. Myers.
Oh.
So before you go murdering him in cold blood,
Come on, it was such a good plan. All right,
no, you can do whatever you like.
Salvador.
But you do realize you're looking at something that you don't have the skills to. I can't even ask you to check for something because you just don't have the skills for it.
Dude, last time I saw something like this, it tried to eat me, okay? I'm not in a very good mood. Salvador, I'm looking at you. I'm like holding the book. I'm like, perhaps one of our colleagues would know more. Would you want to go run and grab them, or should I?
at this point, I think. So, like on one hand, I'm trying to think so hard than subterfuge, but usually I'm just the guy that guns everything down.
Of course, you don't have to be super sneaky. You're just gonna go in there and ask him to take a look at something. I mean, as long as
Oh,
you don't make it
nice.
super obvious, but
Can
like
I
our
feel
American friend did,
Mhm.
I think it'll be
Yeah,
fine.
I will go to the
All right. I'm also gonna ask you to take the book and hide it in the room before you go, just in case something happens. So go hide it in my room, or your room, or whatever.
yeah, I will grab the book.
We
and
don't
hide
want to leave it around here.
I'ma hide it on our room. Like, I'm saying that this one was under the pillow, and Menkaph is wise into the tricks. Honestly, I think I'm gonna hide it beneath the mattress.
All right.
Just quickly, put back the shades and all that stuff. Realize it
All
takes
right,
a while. Fumble with
So
it.
closing the shades.
Yeah. No, not closing the shade. Those shades are staying.
Fuck that.
I don't think he meant they're not closing the shades in the Myers room.
Yeah.
No, he's in his own
I
room.
I definitely think that the shade should be closed in Myers' room before you leave, because otherwise someone's gonna know you were in there.
Well, we're still in there. We're not leaving.
Oh, okay.
Main problem is, what if closing the shades makes the shadows come back?
Dude, fuck that.
Then, yeah.
Daniel's
I
never
was-
going to want to close the shades ever again in
Dude,
any
I'm
room.
scared of the dark now. I'm gonna have scars on my fucking body from those things. I'm gonna add that to my notes. Massive scars.
But yeah, once I had the book, I will casually stroll towards the dining room. Even let out a yawn as I enter.
And then I'm gonna stay back in the room, kind of just like eyeing the thing, holding my guts in at the same time.
And
Yeah,
then
because you're bleeding pretty bad.
Is Eileen still occupying the chair, or by now? Bugger.
Here it goes.
I was asking if on the table that Edmund and the others are sitting at, is Eileen
Mhm.
still?
No, Eileen McGregor left.
All right. And yeah, I'm gonna sit next to Edmund. The nap felt spectacular, though. I feel. What should I call it? James said that he wasn't feeling too good. Edmund, you have some knowledge.
I do. He's back in the room?
Yes. You go check on him. He said that I'm a bit dizzy.
I can
Going.
I can certainly take a look at him. Gentlemen, if you'll excuse me. And he kind of slides himself out. Lets
Mhm.
Salvador slide in, take his place, and maybe his plate.
And then, he's just gonna give, this look to Vyacheslav, concern.
Okay.
Vyacheslav is he literally has this duckling. He's totally not using any kind of table manners at all. He's ripped off the little leg of it and just gnawing on it. His hands are greasy and everything, and he's sucking all the grease off of his fingers and stuff. He's like, "It's good to see you, my friend. What is it that you have discovered?"
Oh well.
Tell him you were napping. He's got a big mouth.
No, this is my response. Well, I discovered that the nap before lunch opens the appetite. I give him a more intent look.
Yeah, Vyacheslav in response just takes a nice big swig and offers the flask over to him and says, to accompany your lunch.
Oh yes, alcohol always makes. Anyway, I take a sip.
But really, friend, what is it that you found in our escapades?
At this point, I imagine that he's lowering his voice.
Yeah, Vyacheslav would have lowered his voice just about as quiet as you can get.
Right.
He's gonna lean forward to turn the glass of that bunny's.
Sorry, you're cutting in and out.
Oh, that he's gonna, lean forward with the flask to return it, and then he's gonna say, "Look,
He's gonna say what?
the book,
What? Book?
the book."
What book? What book are you talking about?
We don't know. We haven't looked at it yet. We have no idea what book we found. We could have found little Bo Peep or some shit. And
Encyclopedia Britannica.
Someone's gonna respond with, probably the one from the Force.
Divorce?
Oh,
The guy that killed and stole their shit from.
that book. Well, let us hope that we have not disturbed the peace of Mr. Myers too much. How is the man? Is he very ill?
He's like Puck.
Like Puck. That would mean that he's... Oh god. And you left Daniel alone with him? Like he almost like raises his voice a little bit and then he drops it back down. He's like, You left him alone with that?
This one was
I think it may have been Ben.
This one was completely not responsive, and this one was actually like some dressed instead of dressed in.
So you're saying that it is passed out, it is quiet, it is not alive? Is it alive or is it dead?
A coma? Best way to describe it. Comatose.
This would explain why she is quite upset. Yeah. Perhaps she did not want them to do this to him, which I can't imagine why she would.
Well, you see, the room was in complete dark when we entered, and judging by what happened, the only reason why Daniel is even alive is because he opened the room in the shadows.
So there were
Man,
those shadows creatures there too, yes?
Fuck that.
I think so.
Is Daniel okay?
You think that I said that?
I will be... He just takes another big bite out of his duckling leg and says, I will be very glad when this train ride is over.
I will be very glad. Far from this shit.
I'm gonna have to put like captions with whenever you speak.
Closed captioning provided by
Trevor. So I guess meanwhile, Edmund is making his way back towards the room where Daniel is. Cane tapping along the floor as he makes his way back. He'll make a quick stop into one of the water closets between the dining car and the room, and he'll take his Derringer out of his
okay.
small of his back, make sure it's loaded, and he'll just slide it into his coat pocket, make sure it's handy, and then continue on his way. And I'm just going to use Salvador. Nope.
I got you.
I guess not. All right, perfect. Yep. Kind of make his way up the hallway there, keeping his eyes out, making sure there's no one watching, and then he'll kind of, give it a rap on the door.
Yeah, the door's closed.
Yep.
Salvador.
So Daniel, when the door knocks, you like jump out of your skin pretty much. It's like
I guess I've been watching this thing this whole time.
you've just been standing there looking at its chest to see if like it breathes.
So I say, no, it's Edmund.
Okay. Damn it, don't be so loud. I opened the door slowly.
I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to scare you.
So Edmund, you stop in mid-sentence as you see before you Mr. Myers, or what was Mr. Myers, lying on the bed. I need for you to make a sanity check.
Okay.
Wah, 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 wah.
Oh, nice. Here we go.
Oof.
Oh,
You just
Oh. I just go.
Edmund passes right out.
I'm
As soon as he connects all of the, he's like,
I'm like, oh, God. Thump.
and I'm going to say that you also hit your
Fuck.
head and take 1 point of
Oof.
damage.
All right. So
I
I
want to know
crack my
Daniel's
skull.
reaction to that.
So
Dude,
here's
I
the
just-
situation.
I see him
You have a-
faint there, and I'm just going, bloody high bones and the silver spoons.
So you have an unconscious man. The windows are still open. The shades are still open, and lunch is quickly coming to a close.
All right, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open the door. I'm gonna take his body, prop it the door open so it doesn't shut again. I'm then going to, as quick as I humanly possibly can, shut the drapes, fix the pillow, and pull Edmund out and close the door.
Yeah, do you still have Salvador's lighter?
I probably do. I probably didn't give it back to him yet.
Yeah, so if you have the lighter and the door open, propped open, and you close the shades, there's a good chance you'll make it out before the shadows can form again.
So before I shut the drapes, I'm going to fix everything in the rooms, due to my, OCD of having everything the way it was. I then shut the drapes with the lighter in hand and then, wrap my arm around, Edmund's chest and sort of drag him away from the door and then relock it using my picks.
You didn't drop any blood in the room, did you?
That I don't even know.
Yeah, I'm sure he bled on stuff, but what are you going to do? There's nothing he could do.
Yeah.
Can't call housekeeping for this one. So here's the way we're going to do this. We're going to make opposed dex rolls. Because you're basically trying to run faster than light. Okay, so I passed, but it's a pretty high roll. Bam,
Nice.
Fleetfoot.
Nicely done.
Look at his split.
Hard success, dude.
It's like
the first
as they're
human to ever run faster than light. I
forming.
just want you to know that.
You have lived up to your moniker.
As they're forming, and you also notice that when you shut the drape, the temperature in the room drops like 10 degrees Celsius. It's just like this massive coolness comes in. And you just close the door. You like lock it with shaky hands, And okay, so now you're outside in the corridor with Edmund. At that moment, Henri comes through the door.
God damn, man.
Just show him the gash marks. Just show him the gash marks. And I think Henri himself will be like, okay, there's no way a human being would leave that kind of shit on someone's chest.
So Henri comes to the door and he's just, his usual business self, and he sees you kind of like trying to drag Edmund, and he's just like, Monsieur, your last name's Baker, right?
Yeah.
Monsieur Baker, are you all right? And he comes over to help assist, and so as he's helping you carry Edmund back, he notices that you're kind of like stumbling. He says, "And you've been out."
Henri, this is a matter of life and death. Do not send any of your people into that room. There is a foul creature. Quickly, we must get Edmund back to the room before anyone sees.
Also,
Okay,
apologize
so-
for bleeding over his passway.
Say again, for bleeding in the hallway.
Apologize for bleeding on his car.
I'm sorry for bleeding.
Actually, this is your room. I do believe this is Edmund's room. So you
That's
bring him in.
I thought Edmund was first. That's my
Edmund
room.
first? There we go.
Edmund, yeah.
Oh, that's right, because Ambrose and Nigel are in the next room.
Mm-hmm.
So he helps bring them into the room, and then he asks, Henri, do you know whether Henri is here? I may be of service. Let me get someone to discreetly take care of your injuries.
Yeah, I slumped to the floor after dragging Edmund's carcass up onto the bed.
Carcass
He
gone
runs.
dead.
Not dead yet.
He runs
Dude,
off.
I'm not a happy camper at this point.
Yeah, probably
So-
not. Huh?
There is a wash basin in the water closet if you want to get like a pitcher of cold water and throw it on Edmund's face.
I'll try the slap technique first.
Okay, great. So roll 1d4. So you're so amped up on adrenaline, you're just like, whoosh.
Yes.
Edmund takes 2 hit points damage. You kind of like loosen a tooth while you're at it,
Oh,
but he does come to.
oh, ah. Oh. Where am I, old chap? What's happened?
You hear a knock at the door. Duh, duh, duh. You hear Nigel's voice. So is everything all right in there?
Nigel, come in here.
Nigel comes in. He's, oh, for heaven's sake. pulls out some smelling salts and waves them under your nose, and you're like, I'm already conscious, man.
See to Mr.
Says,
Baker, he's more injured than I am. My injuries
He kind of like,
more mental.
he looks at Daniel, he's like,
I wave him
all
away.
right, so, but allow me to get you a fresh shirt at least, because you have blood now on your collar. That's not going to do. So he leaves to get you a fresh shirt.
Edmund, I had to drag you all the way in here. Fucking fainted on me.
I'm sorry, old chap. Just seen another one of those things. The first one we saw.
You're
I
telling
convinced
me.
myself that it wasn't real over this past few days, but they are real.
He had a
I
fez
believe
with him,
there's another
Edmund.
one here.
He had a
You know what,
fez on his
Edmund?
head.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but Edmund, I'm also going to say that you're going to add 2 mythos points as well.
Okay,
Aren't you temporarily insane too?
I am.
It's basically Keeper's discretion, so I had him manifest it by passing out,
I see.
that's the Lovecraftian way to handle it.
It's also the
Cool.
kind way of handling it.
It's not very Ben-like.
There's plenty more to come.
Oh, I'm sure. He's not gonna kill us with one punch. He's gonna bleed us to death with 1,000 pricks.
I'm still slumping up against the floor, I'm, like holding my wounds with my left hand, just propping my elbow up, kind of sitting up against the ground. Edmund, the shadow creatures, I think they must come from the fez. They attacked me when I went into the room.
And so Edmund's kind of sitting there on the edge of the bed, like rubbing his head where he like bumped his head when he fell down. He's like, "Tell me the whole story, man. Tell me what happened."
I unlocked the door easy enough. As soon as I set foot inside, it slammed behind me. 2 shadowy creatures like the one that they tried to burn alive in the salon came out and scratched open my chest,
And I kind of wince as I'm talking, it's rough on the breathing.
2 of them, you say? How are you
Yes.
still alive, man?
Luckily, I managed to get the drape open, and it's the light, Edmund. It's the light. It scares them away.
That is good to know, man. Good to know.
And luckily, it wasn't a complete loss. No helps from you. We managed to find your book.
What book?
I can't say which book, but I think it might be that Apocrypha or whatever nonsense.
Do you have the book?
I do believe Salvador hid the book in here somewhere. Or was it in his room? I can't remember. But it's certainly in our possession now.
Well, we must find this book. Possibly the Whispering Fez? Where was it?
It was on the man's head. If you could call it a man.
And he had another fez on his head as well, yes?
Yes, it is much like our scenario when we first met, my friend.
This is terrible news indeed. Another one of these fezzes on this train. This is at least 3 that we know of.
Yes. That does not explain why Menkaph is so interested in the man.
It does not, but this book is very important. We must locate it right away.
When Salvador gets back, we can ask him where he put it.
Nigel, come in here.
Nigel returns with a clean shirt, and he has like a cold compress for Daniel's wounds as well.
Thank you, Nigel. Please, if you can, see if you can get access to Salvador's room. There's a book in there that we need.
Oh, very good, sir. At that moment, Henri comes back with the doctor. So he says, Henri says, Henri is here. Do not worry. Allow me to introduce Monsieur Fortuneau. He is not a doctor, but he was a medic in the war, so I believe he's familiar with the wounds that you would have. So he, opens your shirt. He's kind of like, all right, no problem. Pulls out the sewing kit. He's just about to do it, and then he stops for a second, pulls out a bottle of brandy, hands it to you.
Good man.
I take a large swig.
Okay, so he starts sewing up your wounds. So while you're doing that, Nigel,
And my wounds are a bump on my head and a red hand mark across my face.
It's more on a cheek. Get back.
so Nigel goes into.
I think he took 2 hit points of damage. I think if anything, it's
Dude,
not.
I must have fucking beat his ass.
You were
You're
just
so-
like,
Hit points out of
you were
your 9.
so pissed at that point. Like,
I
you're
was
bleeding,
pissed.
and you're just like, you look at me laying there on the bed, and you're like, wake up, wake up.
I'm dying. I was attacked. I had to drag your ass all the way here, and you passed out when I needed you. I was not a happy man.
I feel like the open hand like closed on its way in.
Yeah.
His adrenaline was just like so heavy. So Nigel kind of stands at the doorway while the doctor's, administering to Daniel, and he catches your eye, Edmund. He just kind of does this. He can't find it.
Ah, careful, damn it!
All right, Edmund will excuse himself. He says, "Gentlemen, give me a minute. I'll be back." And he'll make his way out to the hallway and talk to Nigel.
Okay. So I looked everywhere, but I could not find it.
The room is unlocked.
It is, sir.
So I'll take a look around the room and see if I can see anything.
You need to make a spot hidden roll.
I'll push it. I'll take a little extra
Okay.
time, kind of go slow.
Okay.
Nice.
What a Spaniard hide
Oh
trick.
yeah!
Yeah, so you feel between the mattress and the shelf that the top bunk is on, and you feel the book.
And I slide it out. What does it look like?
Oh man, we're gonna say that it's a large folio style book, and it's quite thick. It's at least 4 inches thick, and has substantial heft to it.
So it's like a Harry Potter book.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a title or anything on it, or I flip open the first page and see if there's a plate or anything in there?
Okay, so let's do this first. As you open the book, we'll cut to the dining room. Alrighty, so the meal is starting to wrap up. Weeping Mrs. Myers starts heading back with Menkaph. So you see them getting ready to leave. Vyacheslav and James can clearly see that they're getting ready.
Vyacheslav is going to prepare to spill his flask
Beans.
of vodka on the first person or whoever's in front.
K-pop.
That'd be Mrs. Myers.
Yeah. So like as they start to walk by, he's gonna pretend like he wasn't paying attention and like stand up, bump into her, and like totally dump the flask on her.
Okay. And she's just weeping. It's just like,
Oh God, you're such a bad person.
And like as
And,
this is happening, like Vyacheslav is like pushing them back, like, "Oh, let me help, please, let me help." And he's like, waiter, come over here, bring towels. We must clean the lady up. I have made grave mistake. I am so sorry. And he's like clearly like he's making himself bigger, like.
right, and Menkaph is like, "Watch where you're going, you oaf."
Yes, I am terribly many apologies. As many apologies as can be given. I apologize 1,000 times over. And he's like pretending like he's a little intoxicated, so that it's excusable. His big actions. And he's like, waiter, come, please bring towel. Bring towel for the lady. And then he like starts taking his like napkins off the table and like patting her down, like patting her chest down and everything. Like totally making this is obnoxiously drunk as possible.
Okay, so two waiters two of the wait staff, I forget what the waiters are called actually, come over, kind of help get the kerfuffle down a little bit, and then they just say, okay, you can sit down, monsieur,
Like,
sit down.
No. Listen, lady. Let me treat you to a drink at the salon. By all means, it will be on me. And then I imagine they're probably like, the drinks are free. And he's like, oh well, come and have a drink with me, and let me apologize personally to you.
Mrs. Myers says, no, that won't be necessary. And she just works her way past you.
How long did I delay them? That had to be a couple of extra minutes, right?
Yeah, that's a good couple minutes.
You didn't set her on fire though, so you're not following the plan.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I would give you a 10 for execution, but not using fire. That's a -2.
It says an automatic flat -2.
Yep.
When there's no fire involved.
And like as she pushes by, he kind of stumbles, and then he intentionally catches his own foot and actually trips and falls in front of Menkaph and
Okay.
Kitchak. 8. I stuck the landing. Yeah, so I fall
So
in
you
the
kind
middle
of
of
fall
the aisle.
over.
Yeah.
God,
Okay.
Professional drunkonomics.
So we're going to say, cut to a couple minutes later, and you can hear Edmund. You take the book, and as you're cracking it open, you can hear the sound of someone running in the hallway, and then you hear a door slam.
Okay, so we're in Salvador's room right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to close the book. You said it's 4 inches thick, huh?
It's tome.
Okay. I'll tuck it under my left arm, and I will open the door and peer out in the hallway and see if I can see anyone.
You do not, but you surmise that it sounds like Mrs. Myers has returned.
Ah, okay.
The wailing gave it away.
The sound of the weeping.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to head back down towards Daniel's room quickly and quietly, and with the...
We're in your room.
Yeah, my room, with the tome tucked underneath my arm, kind of under my jacket.
So
Yeah, so you notice that you just opened up the book to the opening pages, and the book appears to be written in a language you do not understand. The bulk of it, anyway.
Crap.
Can I tell what language it is? I mean, does it look like Arabic?
Make an intelligence check.
Russian?
Intelligence.
Egyptian?
I'm pretty good at
Actually, no. Give me a library use roll.
Library use, huh? I think I might have that skill.
That 1% roll? 65.
And of course I fucking fail it. Can I push that?
If you explain to me how you're pushing it, sure.
Okay, so where am I right now? Am I back in my room?
Yes, with the tome.
Okay, with the tome. So I kind of initially flipped through it, and I'm like, I don't understand what this is. So I kind of move myself. I'll actually go through the little bathroom there, go into the other room where it's a little more quiet, and I will sit and spend a few minutes, maybe half an hour or something, really kind of focusing and studying and seeing what I can figure out about the book, away from him getting patched up and complaining about his scratches.
Okay. So give me another library use roll.
Jesus Christ, the dice hate me tonight. Seriously.
And not tell. You can tell one thing. The language of the bulk of the book is one you just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But also portions of it seem to be written in the same hieroglyphics that you've seen on the fez itself.
Interesting.
As you're
We
like flipping through it, trying to make sense out of it.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
you know that it's going to take longer than 30 minutes to even begin to figure it out. And you need to have a much larger range of skills and occult knowledge
Here is my
to be able to crack this open.
I mean, I do have a pretty decent occult skill.
Right, but without even knowing the
Without
language, there's no...
language, yeah.
Yeah, you can't even start.
Well, I'll return to the room with Daniel and inform him I'm not quite sure what this language is that the book is written in, and maybe we can talk to some of the others, Vyacheslav and some of the others, and see if maybe they can help translate it, because I'm not sure exactly what it is at this point.
Okay, so in the meanwhile, back at the dining car, what are you guys doing?
Well, I've just fallen over in front of Menkaph and Kachak.
K-pop, because right now the issue that we're having is we're running on 2 different timelines.
Yeah, so
Because you guys
how
are
far...
technically in Edmund's past.
Mhm. So how
You're
far-
like 5.
So just run it until they catch up, Ben.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I was gonna
you're
say.
about-
Is because Vyacheslav would have no idea how long he needs to stall for, so he's going to do everything he absolutely can to stall.
Right. But at this point, you realize with Mrs. Myers gone,
It's
that
too late.
You've already failed.
there's... Yeah, there's no... It's not that you already failed. It's you've stalled as long as you could. At this point,
At this point,
she's
I'm
already
finished.
headed back.
Yeah.
That's good, because the next thing I was gonna do was if James like got up to leave, like I was gonna start a fist fight with James and like knock him into Kachak and.
You don't want to get in a fist fight with James.
I mean, I would for stalling.
Like, honestly, at this point, once I see the woman leave, like, I'm gonna start, like, helping Vyacheslav up. Like, don't worry, Sergey. Don't worry. Come on, sit down.
Yes.
So-
Perhaps I've had too much to drink, and he bows and apologizes to Menkaph. And, like, it's like a very drunk and dramatic bow, and he's like,
Right.
I will return to my seat now.
And Menkaph is like, Sergey. Ha! Because he knows your real name.
And he says, I don't know why you'd laugh at the Russian name. It's a good name, very strong name. Many strong Russians are named Sergey. And he just kind of
He
chuckles and
says-
takes another swig out of his flask.
If it
Pathetic
turns
little
out-
man. You're getting involved in things you don't even begin to understand. You think changing your name is going to hide you from those that can truly see? And then he walks out.
He calls after him, I know much more than you think I do, friend. he chuckles a little. He chuckles under his breath, just like, he's a good guy, that Menkaph, isn't he? Like, he just says that out loud, like, to make the other people in the car seem like he's just joking with a friend.
I'm just gonna whisper, like, what did I tell you about talking to him?
What? I did not understand quite what you said.
What did I tell you about talking with him? It's dangerous.
A little interchange like that. Harmless, for sure, yes?
Either that or alcohol is a natural defense against it.
And then Vyacheslav puts down the flask and like he goes like stone faced and he says, if you honestly thought I was drunk right now, I must be a far better actor than I thought I was. And
Yes,
he's like, do you know how much of this I drink? I have built up tolerance over good many years. Yeah, so I guess Vyacheslav would stand up, brush himself off, and say, gentlemen, I think we should go join our friends back in the sleeping car, yes?
Agreed. So remember that Salvador knows nothing about what Aileen told you.
Say again, Neil?
Remember that Aileen said something about, meeting her at the salon in the afternoon?
Right, but that was with Edmund.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. Salvador knows nothing about that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Vyacheslav would bring that up and say, it might be that Edmund and I will be missing a little bit later this afternoon. We are planning to have conversation with Miss McGregor in the salon. I don't know if she would like you to join us, but if you would like to join us, I suppose there would be no harm in the issue. We were talking about the Armenian problem, as exciting as
Oh,
it
boy.
may be.
Well, I mean, if I am not welcome to join, you can always just lend me your Russian to English book. I would think that Mrs. Menkaph would be in there.
Yes, perhaps you could do that.
We'll have to find ways to occupy ourselves. And I could think of many, many.
He
reasons to do
pats
that.
he pats James on the shoulder and says, all right, let's head back, shall we?
Yes, we should.
James says, yes. Vyacheslav, you're a crazy bastard.
he, a big grin comes over his face and he clasps him on the shoulder and leans in real close and he says, all Russians, crazy, just like this. Some are worse. And his eyes just get really big. And he's clearly kidding, but you know.
Are you even considering your Russian audience? I mean, come on.
Alienating.
Nah, they would find it hilarious.
Okay,
If I know
cool.
anything
So
about
you-
Russians, they would find this hilarious. They would be like, "Nah, this is good."
This is good.
Ah, this is good. Yeah.
Okay,
this is
so
good.
you make your way back
What you're
to as you get back to the sleeping car, you can hear that there's conversation going on in Edmund's compartment.
Music?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
You can turn it up a little bit.
On his
Then it'd say,
low.
"Let's go."
Hang on.
We need a secret knock. Our secret knock should be knocking super, super loudly 3 times.
Yeah.
Boom, boom.
That's our secret knock.
And
Do that 3 times and then yell police. That's our secret knock.
FBI, open up!
So you hear your signal knock at the door, Edmund.
Alright, I'll stand up and answer the door.
Daniel's patched up and, sitting on, like laying across the bed with bandages across his middle. So the door opens, and Vyacheslav, you immediately notice that something is up big time. Edmund looks the most disheveled you've ever seen him. And
My
he has
friends,
the look.
Come in.
He has the look of someone who's like tried to get away with something and it failed. And then you see Daniel with his, waistcoat open and his shirt open and all bandaged up and like
And
blood seeping
everywhere.
through, drinking it from a bottle of brandy.
Well, friends, as curious as I am to know why you are in the states that you're in, I think I may have had a little too much to drink, at least to know the story behind it. So, if you would please, wait, are they in our room? Salvador's and,
No, we're in
No,
Edmund's room.
you are in Edmund's room.
okay.
You were gonna ask us to leave, you piece of shit.
No, I was gonna say, please don't bleed
Don't
on
even
my bed.
lie.
I was gonna
Don't
say,
even
bleed
lie.
on my bed. So actually, I think I will ask. And he just looks at Daniel. Just kind of holds a hand out, like gesturing towards his chest. Care to explain?
Fuck off, Vyacheslav. I'm not in the mood.
He says, it's You've got the whole bottle of brandy there. You should be in the great mood.
Half of this was just to dull the pain. Not in a great mood. First, I get attacked by shadows. Next, we see creepy guy laying on the bed. Next, I have to carry this fucking guy all the way into the room because he passes out as soon as he sees the thing.
Yes, I fear I haven't had a very good day today. Not the best I've performed so far.
Like,
Sorry, my friend.
Your
Did I let
face
you
is
down?
a little bruised there. What happened?
Yes, we'll say it's from a fall.
Damn right it's from fall.
You know, I'm glad I went to lunch instead of joining you two. That is for certain. Would the book be out on the bed?
I don't
Next
know
time,
if Edmund.
you break into the room with the shadowy creatures, and I go to breakfast.
I like how your accent changed.
Yeah,
Dude, I'm
Daniel.
terrible with accents. You have to forgive me. I kind of like change my accents to fit like what other people are doing, just
Yeah.
because it like get it stuck in my head. So if I sound Russian, it's just because it's been Trevor's
funny
been
'cause it
talking.
sounds
You
like-
know, it
it
just
sounds
happened.
It just sounds like Daniel's making fun of him.
Oh,
That's
I
why
do
it's
that
hilarious.
Don't mind me. God.
But yeah, would the book be out on the bed?
Probably not, but I'll pull it out. I'll say Vyacheslav, my friend. Despite all of our troubles this afternoon, there are two things. One, there is another creature like Pooks in Mr.
Oh,
Myers'
God.
room.
Oh, you're
Also
fucking
wearing-
kidding, right?
Also wearing a fez.
I told you. I told you.
You didn't believe him.
No, I
Yes.
didn't believe him. Why would I believe him? You
I
know,
barely
it's
believe
because
it
I-
myself.
I pushed it out of my memory. I tried to not even think that it was real. I thought it might have just been a dream and that all the rest of this is just part of that dream. But if there's another fucking one of those things, then
You
it's...
sound like Edmund.
Yes.
I would
yes.
say
Literally said the
Vyacheslav.
same thing.
Vyacheslav will need to make a sanity check.
just hearing about it.
Just
Nice.
knowing and just seeing, the
Is that
book and
power?
everything now.
Or is that...
It's
No,
all
there's,
hit home.
there's actually a separate SAN.
Oh, Sam, that's right.
It's next to your hit points.
Of which I am missing 5.
Double click it.
I'm upset about that.
Yeah, double clicked it, nothing happened.
Your current, you double click
number.
your current.
Oh
the
no, I
number.
double clicked it by max. Double
you go.
clicked it. Yeah.
Wah,
That is
wah,
a
wah.
fail, my friend.
This is going to be fun. Okay, so you lose 2.
Not that much fun.
Not that
Oh,
much
my
fun. I
bad.
was hoping you'd pass out.
I'm trying to mark it down, but I'm not quite sure how.
Vyacheslav,
Okay,
I
there
must
we
say, I did not perform very well. I saw the creature and immediately passed out. If it wasn't for our friend Daniel here, I would still be laying on the floor of the room.
Well, I mean, it's not only
Deeply
that, but
ashamed.
when it hits Vyacheslav, he physically stumbles and leans against the door
That's
frame
why,
or something.
yeah, I mean that's why like his hand just like falls in his his head just falls in his hands like you're kidding.
Unfortunately, I know I'm not. The good news is, we did recover a book from the room, and he'll pull the book out and show it to Vyacheslav.
Yeah,
Say-
Vyacheslav just takes the book and he's like, "Yes, let me give a good mull over. Have you learned anything from it?"
I have not been able to. I do not understand the language. I'm hoping maybe you can shed some insight.
Possibly. He just kind of shrugs his shoulders. I only know 3 languages and only 2 of them relatively well.
So I'll kind of sit down with Vyacheslav. Maybe we can kind of go through it together and give him my notes or whatnot, the things that I saw while I was flipping through.
I have to ask, does any of it
Right.
look like Arabic?
No.
We'll do a library use.
Well, he'll know what it doesn't look like. He just doesn't know what it looks like.
So you want me to roll library use?
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes. You remember that the language of the book appears to be, what isn't hieroglyphics? Appears to be the same language as the ferry tickets that you had
Didn't I have
translated.
a fair...
Those were in like Turkish, weren't
Right,
they, or
they
something?
were in Turkish. Because they told
In
us what
Turkish is
language they were in.
And
What are
James
your
Ambrose,
languages?
I believe,
My
speaks
languages
Turkish.
are Russian, English, and Arabic.
Yeah, I have
That's the
English,
thing.
French, and Italian, but James Ambrose does have a smattering of Turkish from his
So he
dealings with
actually
the Turkish
either one of them.
community.
Yeah, because Arabic is not like Turkish. Like, if I recall correctly, Turkish is written in, like it's written in Latin alphabet. It's just that, well, it's like a weird mix of Cyrillic and Latin alphabet.
Yeah, Turkish has a lot of Arabic words in it too.
Yeah, just that not the writing itself. So that makes most Arab-speaking people don't really understand Turkish.
Hell, our whole number-based system is based on the Arabic system.
So, given that knowledge, I mean, I'd probably say out loud, well, this is, do you remember the tickets that we had? He's speaking to Edmund. You remember the tickets that we had translated?
I do recall them. Yes, the Turkish ones.
This is the same language. It's Turkish.
Turkish, you say?
Yes,
Ambrose,
it is Turkish.
don't you speak a smattering of Turkish?
James says, bloody right I do.
Come over here, man. Take a look at the book. Tell us what you
Takes
see.
a look, flips open the book. There's this isn't Turkish. This is Persian.
Oh.
I can't bloody read this.
Oh, boy.
Between the two of us, though, Arabic and Turkish. No.
Don't work that way. That's like saying you can take Chinese and Swahili and understand dolphin.
Oh,
Like,
Jesus.
it's not like
I think that works. I'm pretty sure it
In
does.
Star Wars, it does.
Oh, okay.
In Star Wars, it would.
it's not like, for instance, like if you speak, for instance, Spanish and maybe Catalan, you can understand French and Italian. Like, they are not that related.
Fair enough.
Yeah, not only that, but you're talking about a book that's really old. So even its mode, you'd have to understand the language so well to be able to understand it. I mean, try reading something English from the 1700s.
It's fucked, yeah.
Yeah. So,
we
how
know
about
it is Persian.
we do? Nigel, if you can, could you summon Henri for me?
Very good, sir. I shall find him.
If
Now,
Henri can track down someone who can read Persian.
Menkaph shows up.
Menkaph,
Oh, God.
get what you
Considering
ask
what we've
for.
seen at
You
that
shoot him
point,
and throw him out the window.
There you
you
go.
know, like,
Prefer
he
you
shows
not
up,
ask for
like
Menkaph.
in the door, like I speak person, just fucking open up on him with everything. Like, fuck jail.
So you you realize, you check your pocket watch, Edmund, and you realize that it's high time that you were off to the salon car anyway. It's nigh on 2 o'clock.
Okay, so I'm gonna let everyone know that Miss McGregor had passed me a note while we were in the dining car that said that she was worried about Miss Myers and that she wanted me to meet her in the salon car at 2. I would prefer not to go alone. If anyone would like to join me, preferably
Yes, I
armed.
will be going with you, and I will have my gun. I believe Salvador will be going in the same room as us. However, I think he is going to be studying up on his Russian so that he can flirt with Miss Mirov or Mirkov or Menkaph. Yes, there we go.
He knows her name.
And so I'd walk over to the room and just grab that English to Russian, Russian English dictionary and
Much appreciated.
absolutely happy flirting, friend.
Daniel pushes himself up to a sitting position. He's like,
I, for one, am going to go in my room and just lay down. You all gonna have to succeed without me for once.
Just
Yes,
make
get
sure,
my-
my friend, that you, just make
Get
sure,
some
my
rest,
friend,
my
that you keep
friend.
the windows open.
Yeah.
Just keep.
Make sure the fucking windows are open.
Get some rest, my friend. I'm sorry for earlier.
I would just like to say I am very pleased with the level of paranoia on display here. I'm going to meet a woman. Everyone, make sure you're armed and loaded, locked and loaded, and ready to go. We're meeting in the salon at 2. I want
Hell yeah.
backup.
Can I put my shotgun
want
on my trench coat?
Sniper
You should
support.
put it in your shoe.
I'm gonna saw off the shoulder stock like in Terminator and make a sling
Yeah.
for my shoulder.
I mean, think about it, Ben. Think about what you have thrown at
Um,
us. Think about what is on this train currently that we all know about.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we be like this?
So, afternoon. We'll do the scene and then we'll call it after that because the next major event after this is going to be the evening stop in Vienna, and that's when the
We meet the
Baron
Dutch.
comes on board.
Okay.
Yeah, so we want to
And we
make sure
want
John's
Our
around for
friend
that.
John, yeah.
Yeah, we don't want John to miss too much.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay.
Edmund strolls into the salon car and gazes
Okay, and
about
you-
the room.
And you can see that you can't even tell that the bar was aflame. Not one day ago. It looks nice and clean. So you see Eileen McGregor sitting on a sofa off to the side, and so she rises to meet you when you come in. She says, "Gentlemen, I'm so glad that you could come.
Miss McGregor, pleasure to see you.
I see that you all share my concern for Mrs. Myers. She's sitting in the next area over. Perhaps we can go speak with her."
Please, we will follow you, madam.
I mean,
Is Miss
Two things
Myers
that I
the one
gotta
that I
ask.
spilled stuff on?
Yes.
Yes.
the first thing I'm gonna ask is who else is in the salon right now?
Really no one, because it's after lunch.
Mhm.
Everyone's kind of like taking their afternoon nap or whatever.
All right, then I'm just gonna ask Mrs. Aileen. Is she alone or with Menkaph?
No, she comes here alone in the afternoons.
Good.
So I'll make my way across and maybe order a couple drinks from the bar, and then sit
Okay.
down opposite them on the little lounge chair there.
Yeah.
So Eileen is, got Mrs. Myers' hand, and she's there-thering her. And Mrs. Myers is, putting a hanky to her eyes as she's weeping. And now you can tell that Mrs. Myers is very young.
Mm-hmm. Like how young?
Late teens, probably.
So I'll introduce myself. Say, Miss Myers.
She does a little start when she sees Vyacheslav.
Right.
My name is Edmund Gore. I'm here at the request of Miss McGregor. This is one of my compatriots here, Vyacheslav.
Whom you've already met.
Whom you've already met earlier.
Well, I don't think I wouldn't have told you about that incident, so you'd have no idea.
No, but,
All right.
that's why I'm just gonna say, I'm just gonna look at that point at Edmund and say, oh, they have met already.
Yeah, just
Well, I'm glad to hear.
he puts a hand over his heart to gesture a genuine apology, and he says, I would like to apologize for my behavior earlier and for covering you in vodka. It was I was a little too intoxicated, and I tripped while standing up, and it was a horrible mistake. And I'd like you to know that I sincerely apologize from the deepest reaches of my heart, and I hope you can forgive my actions today.
Salvador, I'm gonna move you over because you're joining in that conversation, correct?
He's just way back there, like looking
Just
at the plan.
You already met her!
He already met her. So she says, "You know what? Hang on one sec. I'll be right back."
I'm there right now. Like at first, it's a bit awkward.
Yeah. Awkward.
Also, I
need a prop for this. Oh, yeah, I just need to grab a tissue so I could play the role better.
That
So Mrs. Myers like, "That's okay." And Eileen McGregor's, there. We're here because we want to help you.
Miss Myers, you seem
at
very
that-
distressed. What's bothering you so much?
So at that moment, you hear the door open to the salon,
Oh my God. I see K.
and you observe K-Pop
Oh,
comes walking over and just gets a seat at the bar. But he's clearly like sitting sideways and listening in. And so
Oh.
Mrs. Meyer,
You know, he
Salvador.
he kind of he pulls out his flask and he says, "You know, I think I need a refill. I might go sit at the bar and have a chat with the gentleman who just walked in. He looks like a kind fellow." And Vyacheslav kind of whispers to
the man is an animal.
he whispers to Edmund. He says, "You have this situation handled, yes?
yes. Thank
I
you,
will
my
try
friend.
to talk his ear off. Okay?
Okay.
So I'm gonna go over and
Oh, you're gonna be like in the spy movies when they play the radio when
Yeah.
they know they're being bugged.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, one thing I will point out though is like when you said that he's a good man, didn't what's it gonna call it? Mrs. Mayers call him an animal.
She did,
Mhm.
yes.
But yeah, Vyacheslav would go over and sit down next to K-Pak.
And
And,
Edmund looks at Salvador as well and kind of gives him a head nod, like, "Hey, go with Vyacheslav. Make sure you got his back over there, because this
Yep,
guy's
and
like
I'm-
a mountain, isn't he?"
Yeah, he's a big dude.
I mean, Vyacheslav is 6'3", but this guy is almost 7 foot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the Russian bear looks more like the Russian cub. Next to the turkey.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think
Exactly,
it'd be
he's a puppy.
advantageous to position maybe you on the corner of the bar there, standing.
Yeah, let me like properly open this one.
And watch us just be interrupting this man, just trying to actually take a break from his like awful job, just trying to have a drink, not even trying to listen in on us.
Trying to drown his sorrows, like.
You think it's easy being Menkaph's heavy?
Yeah, you know, fuck it, might as well put me there. And,
Couple
you
of
know, like I
drinks,
said,
few minutes of conversation, we'll have
Curious.
him weeping at the bar.
I'm actually really curious, and I might try something, but I just want to know: is there a player at the harpsichord?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay. Before I actually get to the bar, I take, you know, I imagine Edmund is probably given Vyacheslav like a little bit of cash to use. I don't know if that's true or not. But I
would
mean,
say
we'd
so.
all kind of need some
I mean,
cash to use. But
Yeah, we've kind of been taking care of Vyacheslav's needs with his coats and suits and stuff like that, so I've probably handed you a small pile of bills to, you know, take care of any incidentals.
so what Vyacheslav does is he puts a he puts a tip on the edge of the harpsichord and says to the man, "Do you know much Bach? Yes?
Oui, monsieur.
I'd like to hear a little fugue in G minor, please." And
Oui,
then
monsieur.
after that, if you could, maybe some of Mozart stuff from the from his little book. Yes.
Oui, monsieur.
Thank you very much. And he goes and he sits down at the bar. I'm just trying to make as much noise to fill
Yeah.
the air as possible.
And as the music kind of comes up, Edmund will kind of lean in close to Miss McGregor and
Right.
and talk to her, kind of low and under his breath, so he's not projecting too far.
That's a good one. So, Eileen McGregor's there, dear. Tell us what's bothering you, Mrs. Myers. We've only been married these 2 weeks. It's been a nightmare. So she goes on to explain that they were
Cracking me up.
they were at honeymoon in Paris. Her husband has an interest in the occult, and they ran into Menkaph. I'm going to lower this a little. They ran into Menkaph in Paris, and Menkaph introduced himself as like a spiritual advisor, and her husband went hook, line, and sinker into it, and spent a lot of time with him. And then Menkaph had told him something about the fez. He had convinced Mr. Myers to put the fez on, and that's when he succumbed to some kind of illness. So she's convinced that it's the fez is causing some kind of issue, but Menkaph has told her that she's just being a hysterical woman. It's just that her husband is so sensitive that he's in tune with this otherworldliness, and that's what's happening. But she believes that there's some other darker reason for it. So she says, Scott, that's my husband. He really is a good man, and anything you could do to help, I'd appreciate. I believe that Menkaph is a madman. Must somehow get him away from my husband. So anything you can do to help.
Well, madam. Yeah. Madam,
I think
you are correct in your assumption that the fez is causing the issues. This Menkaph is a very, very dangerous man, and it's unfortunate that you and your husband have fallen into his company, but we intend to help you in any way that we can. What would you have us do?
I really don't know. You just can't leave us in the middle of Europe now, can you? Is there anything you could do for his illness?
I'm not sure. I don't know what has stricken him.
Got a 12 gauge that cures most ailments.
Load of buckshot will clear up that for you.
Sadly enough, that's the only thing that can cure him, as far as we know.
Yeah. I don't know what your husband's current state is. Do you think it'd be possible for us to get him out of the room without Menkaph knowing?
Impossible, I'm afraid. If Menkaph isn't watching, then one of his men surely is watching the compartment.
And how many men does he have here with him?
He has K-Pak and 2 other men in the next sleeping car over.
They ain't no man.
Does that mean they know we went in?
Yeah, I don't know. Possibly.
I don't know. Does it?
I was pretty sneaky.
What do you think the shadows are?
Fuck.
Well, Daniel, you're not in the room.
I know, I'm thinking aloud.
Yeah.
I'm not breaking immersion here.
He's like
if I
co-narrator.
was there, I would ask. I'm just kidding.
What can you tell us about Menkaph?
She only knows what Menkaph has told her husband about him, that he is some sort of cult spiritual leader in Constantinople. And he convinced my husband to go there and said that he could teach him all these esoteric things My husband believed him, and now he's sick.
I'm very sorry for your situation, but we'll see what we can do to help you. I'm just not sure what is possible at the moment. If we remove your husband from the room, obviously Menkaph will know. Have you spoken to Henri or the porters about your situation?
I daren't speak to them about it. What are they going to do? Put us off as the next checkpoint? And then what?
Where is home for you?
England. London, to be precise.
And that's where you'd like to return to?
Oh, that would be wonderful. But not with my husband in his current state.
I don't know that there's much that we can do for him. This Fez...
And when you say that, she just starts hysterically crying.
Tell her to take the fez off.
Yeah. Your husband...
Sorry.
Menkaph and his men, you said they put a fez on his head?
Yes, they said that it would help him in his studies.
And is he still wearing this fez?
Yes, the fez is on his head.
And when was the last time you saw your husband?
20 minutes ago. Why do you ask?
How would you describe his condition?
Well, he's very ill, and Menkaph says we have to keep the room dark.
And you've seen nothing else strange within this room?
I am disturbed by horrible dreams every night, but other than that, it's just got to be my worries getting the better of me, I'm afraid. I will take that drink now.
Yes, please. Here, take this. A little liquid courage will do you good. Is there anything else you can tell us? Anything strange you have seen?
No.
Think might help us?
She has not.
Milk
And no doctor has seen your husband? You're just
No,
going on
Menkaph.
word of Menkaph.
Menkaph won't allow it, I'm afraid.
If you were to tell your story to Mr. Henri, it might be possible to get a doctor into the room. Do you think you would be willing to do this?
Or get that guy kicked off the train.
Yeah, Mr. Henri might be able to take action if he feels one of the passengers is either threatened or ill.
And he's a friend.
Do you think you would be willing to speak to him?
Well, I have spoken to Henri, but he said that there was not much he could do.
Do you fear for your husband's
Because
life, madam?
it is my word against his. I feel that Mr. Menkaph has some kind of dark, sinister agenda, but I don't know what it is. My husband is still alive, I know that much as well.
Well, you're very astute. This Menkaph character is very dangerous. I think we need to speak with Henri and see if there's anything that we can do for your husband. Further action may need to be taken if he's unable to do anything for him. Let me speak with my compatriots for a few moments.
I send you like
Hey,
a
guys.
telekinetic message asking you to tell her to open up the blinds so next time I break in I don't get fucking stabbed.
And I imagine if you approach us, you hear.
Well, I kind of look
Vyacheslav.
over to you guys and just kind of give you a little wave, like, hey.
You'd hear Vyacheslav over the music when you look over, and you kind of focus your ears on the environment around you. You hear Vyacheslav going on about the different varieties of bears in Russia, and the temperatures that they thrive best in, and talking about Siberia. And he's doing this very loudly. He's like, and you know, we have very large bears. They're, I mean, bigger than most bears that you would have, in Europe or, down south. I don't even know if do you have bears in Turkey? I don't know much about Turkey. Tell me about it. Is it as cold as Russia? Russia's very cold. Like, just annoying the shit out of K-Pak or...
And K-Pak is doing his best to ignore you. And that's saying something. He's doing a good job.
Yeah.
He's just... having his drink and just otherwise totally ignore you.
Although it feels like he's like, God damn it, I want to hear what they're talking with that woman.
Do you think he
He's
came
burning
here
on the inside.
after having the harpsichord go on, me basically screaming at him, and them lowering their voice? Can we get the idea that he's actually able to hear them?
Yeah, no, you can't hear, because you can't hear anything. But you also get the idea that K-pop, his role isn't necessarily to stop her from speaking to people. I mean, Menkaph
Maybe
has
just to
her
see who
convinced
she's
even
speaking
that
to.
she's hysterical. She has her suspicions, but, you know, she's like, baby's right. I mean, who's to say?
He really
Yeah.
is
He's
here
sick.
just having
He
a
said
drink.
he said Menkaph could help, and she thinks that there's something else going on, but she has no proof of that.
Right.
She hasn't seen the creatures. She hasn't had any of the supernatural
She's
stuff
seen
happen
her
that you guys
husband.
have seen.
Dude's like a lizard.
But she hasn't, because the room's been kept so dark.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? That's fucking bullshit. Come on, man.
I say we present everything that we found to Henri. I say we give
What's
him
he
an
gonna
update
do,
and let him
man?
know that. Well, I don't know. I mean, we may be able to try and get this guy kicked off the train, or
Wait,
I say we
have the
just-
authorities brought on, or something like that, to at least bring a doctor into the room to have Mr. Myers looked at, because obviously his wife is fearing for him, and that combined with the things that we've seen, we may be able to convince him. I don't know.
I think what we should do is convince her to stay up late at night, open the door for us, we'll go in together, we will take the fez off the guy.
We
and
don't
then
know what taking
walk
the
out.
fez off of him will do, though.
Could
Well,
kill
either
him.
we can... Well,
we
he's a
don't even
fucking
know if
lizard
we
man.
can take the fez off the guy.
If we can't, we have to fucking just kill him, because none of us speak Turkish. Because
Well,
the
are we
cure
gonna-
has to be in the book, man.
Right. I
So-
mean, are we gonna murder him in front of his wife
Wait,
if we're unable to get the fez off?
Oh, if she sees
Wait.
him, she'll see that it's not her husband anymore.
Wait, I think we can do
She would be down
something
with that
both.
still.
Wait, we can do something brutal, but still, I think it would give a bigger effect. That's
I like
basically
how we're
you know,
concerned with doing something brutal. We
I
can
mean,
still do
look.
something brutal. We just...
yeah, like
We can get away
like,
with
you
it.
know, I think I figured out a way, but you know, like when Edmund motions me to come over, you know, I will take like my coffee and I will bring him another one to him. At least in Spain, we tend to like coffee after lunch. Oh yeah, I will approach.
Thank you, my
And-
Spanish friend.
You're welcome, my English friend. And you know, at that point, like, I haven't not heard that. Like, you know, as is, I don't think it's too big of a leap of logic that she hasn't seen her husband. Meanwhile, Daniel and I have seen him without the blinds.
Fuck that, man.
So I'm just gonna ask her, you know, like, lowering my voice as I hear the harpsichord play behind, you know, like Vyacheslav just filling his head with bears. You know, I will ask the woman, have you ever gone to see your husband alone? Only you? Or is there always someone?
She says, yes, at night I sleep on the floor.
Very well, but
But
during the day...
Menkaph's room is attached, don't you see?
Mhm. Well, how close to the window do you sit?
Relatively close, why do you ask?
Very well. Next time that you're alone with your husband in that room, during the day, of course, we need you to open the blinds.
Menkaph said that if that happened, he would die.
I can already tell you, Menkaph is, to quote my homeland, full of shit. I cannot say much, but I exactly what happened.
You're cutting
I'm
out
sorry
there.
to say, the situation is not good.
I
at
can
all.
hear him.
Oh yeah, like yeah, I'm just like lowering my voice like to keep it not break the immersion. But yeah,
And Edmund will also kind of echo that and say, Madam, this is not a man to be trusted. Anything he is telling you is most likely false. Your husband
you
is
make
not
a-
sick because he came down with something. Your husband is sick because of the actions of this Menkaph.
Can you
If
make a
that's bad.
persuade roll,
About Charles?
Salvador?
Gladly, fucking gladly, I will do a persuade roll. That is my jam. Let me see.
And fail. Oh,
No,
35.
nicely done. Hard.
a hard success.
Okay, so she agrees to that plan.
We will make sure that Henri and his crew are nearby. Well, you just have to open the blinds the next time that you're alone in the room with your husband, and I think we'll be able to end suffering, maybe even get Menkaph kicked out and a proper doctor seeing your husband.
So she agrees. It says tomorrow at lunchtime. She will
Perfect.
excuse herself from the dining car, and then
Very
she'll go
well.
back to her compartment and open the drapes. This is a real Dracula kind of vibe going on now, doesn't
We will
it?
have
Yeah.
some
It's
of us
very
will delay.
Dracula.
Some of us will delay. Like I keep my voice low. Some of us will delay Menkaph and K-Pop, so you can do so undisturbed, and we will make sure that Henri has some men nearby.
Vyacheslav would not have left the bar, by the way. He's still talking the ear off of K-Pop.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
She call him K-Rock
Also,
K-pop.
or K-pop.
one last thing that I must ask you, man. Whenever he's talked to you, has he ever talked in a way that you felt extremely compelling?
Well, he is a very charismatic man, you must admit. But I
Well,
can't say that I remember him. Are you talking about mesmerism and all that stuff?
yes.
Frankly, I don't believe in it myself.
Well, best way to describe it is I don't know exactly how he does it, but I can tell that if he wants to, he can indeed mesmerize people. I don't believe in it myself, but I do know that there are ways in which the human mind can be influenced. It's something psychology. If actually Freud is from this time period, isn't he?
Not only from this time period, he's might actually be an NPC coming up, depending on
Oh,
what happens the next day or so.
So yeah, I will tell her. Like, I like to read a bit of Freud myself, and it is possible to indeed, mesmerize people knowing the right tricks. I had a chat with Menkaph the other day, and I can tell you he knows them well. So do your best to just be on the watch for anything overly suspicious, and try not to listen to him as much as you can. It is
Very
paramount.
well. Yeah, she agrees to that. If you say so, sir. Now I better be getting back to my room.
Very well. Tomorrow after lunch. Right?
And yes, thank you all. Thank you, Miss McGregor. Thank you, Mr. Gore. Thank you.
Salvador.
What is your last name? Cordoba? Is that his last name?
No, his
Thank
last
you,
name
Mr.
would be
Cordoba.
Fernandez. No, it would be
Thank you,
Fernandez.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Fernandez. And thank your Russian friend for me as well.
Vyacheslav, whenever K-Pop gets up to leave, Vyacheslav he's basically going to insert himself between McGregor and K-Pop, because Vyacheslav doesn't know what he might do to her.
You mean, so Eileen McGregor, you mean?
Not McGregor, Myers.
Mrs. Myers.
Yeah.
Okay. That's easy enough. And I think that is a great breaking point. Stopping point for tonight.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good game, everybody.
Good stuff, guys.
Me in particular.